There was a time when cars weren't just machines. They were dreams on wheels. The 1950s wasn't just another decade in automotive history. It was a full-blown design revolution. Chrome sparkled under city lights. Tail fins stretched toward the sky like jet wings. Interiors felt like cockpits from a fighter plane. America wasn't just building cars. It was building confidence. But here's the strange part. Some of the most beautiful cars ever created during that golden era completely failed. Not because they were ugly. Not because they were slow. Not because they were poorly made. They failed because the world simply wasn't ready for them. Today, we're going back to rediscover 5 stunning machines from the 1950s that look like masterpieces, but struggled to survive in the real world. And trust me, at least one of these might make you wonder, how did this not succeed? Car number 1, Hudson Italia. Imagine this. It's 1954. Most American cars are big, heavy, chrome-loaded cruisers. And then suddenly, this appears. Low, sleek, European, almost exotic. The Hudson Italia didn't look American at all, and that was the point. It was born from a bold collaboration between Hudson Motor Company and the Italian coach builder Touring of Milan. Its aluminum body was hand-formed in Italy. It looked closer to an Alfa Romeo than anything parked in Detroit. But underneath all that elegance, it rode on the chassis of a modest Hudson jet. And that's where things got complicated. Buyers were confused. Why does this small coupe cost nearly $4,800, more than a Cadillac Eldorado, yet only come with an inline-6 engine? Performance wasn't thrilling. The price wasn't friendly. And the brand image didn't scream European luxury. Only 26 units were ever built. 26. That's not just rare. That's almost mythical. But here's the truth. The Italia wasn't a failure because it was bad. It was a failure because it was early. Years later, Americans would fall in love with European-inspired performance cars. But in 1954, it felt foreign, strange, out of place. Today, collectors see it differently. Not as a mistake, but as a brave experiment. A car that dared to dream outside its borders. Car number 2, Continental Mark II. Now let's talk about ambition. Real ambition. In the mid-1950s, Cadillac dominated American luxury. If you wanted status, you bought a Cadillac. But Ford had other plans. They didn't want to compete. They wanted to dominate. So they created something bold, a separate brand called Continental. And their masterpiece was the Continental Mark II. No fleshy fins. No excessive chrome. No loud styling. Instead, it was clean, elegant, mature. The doors closed with a vault-like thud. The interior featured genuine Scottish leather. Air conditioning came standard, something rare at the time. Every detail was hand-finished. This wasn't just a luxury car. It felt like an American Rolls-Royce. But there was one problem. The price. $10,000 in 1956. That was the cost of a house. Ford actually lost money on every single unit sold. Production costs were so high that even the massive price tag couldn't cover them. Even though celebrities like Elvis Presley owned one. Only around 3,000 were sold before the brand quietly faded away. The Mark II didn't fail because it lacked quality. It failed because it was too perfect, too expensive, too exclusive. Sometimes being the best just isn't enough. Car number 3, Kaiser Darrin. Some cars are forgotten. Others are unforgettable the moment you see them. The Kaiser Darrin falls into the second category. When it debuted in 1954, it didn't look like anything else on American roads. Fiberglass body, a distinctive puckered front grille, and most famously, doors that slid into the front fenders. It was the first American sports car with a fiberglass body, arriving just before the Corvette gained fame. From a design standpoint, it was daring, playful, almost romantic, but performance didn't match the looks. A 90-horsepower inline-6 engine struggled to deliver excitement. Buyers expected speed to match that aggressive styling, and it simply wasn't there. Add to that a high price and Kaiser Motors' financial struggles, and the project was cut short. Only 435 units were built. The Kaiser Darrin feels like a shooting star. Bright, unique, brief. A reminder that innovation alone can't guarantee survival. Car number 4, Chrysler 300C. Now this one hurts, because the Chrysler 300C wasn't weak. It wasn't slow, and it certainly wasn't ugly. Released in 1957, it was one of the most powerful American cars of its era. Under the hood, a 392 cubic inch Hemi V8 pushing up to 375 horsepower. In the 1950s, that was serious power. It could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 8 seconds, rivaling European sports cars of the time. And visually, Virgil Exner's forward-look design gave it dramatic fins, a wide stance, and a confident presence. It looked fast even when parked. So why didn't it dominate? Because it tried to be 2 things at once. It targeted buyers who wanted both high performance and high luxury. That audience was small. The price was steep, nearly double a Chevy Bel Air. Only around 1,900 units sold. But today, collectors call it a muscle car in a tuxedo. It didn't fail because it lacked strength. It failed because it served a niche before niches were profitable. Car number 5. Nash Airflyte. And now we end with something different. In 1950, most cars still followed traditional shapes. Separate fenders, upright grills, conservative styling. Then, Nash introduced the Airflyte. Rounded, streamlined, almost bubble-like. Its covered rear wheels and curved windshield made it look like a rolling capsule. Some people loved it. Many didn't. Critics joked it looked like a bathtub on wheels. But technically, it was brilliant. Its aerodynamic shape reduced drag, improved fuel economy, delivered a smoother ride at highway speeds. And inside, the seats could fold flat into a bed, decades before camper culture became trendy. Nash believed this was the future, but the public wasn't convinced. While other brands embraced flashy chrome and tail fins, Nash chose restraint, and restraint rarely wins in a decade obsessed with excess. Sales suffered. Yet looking back now, the Airflyte feels visionary. Sometimes the quiet thinkers don't get applause in their own time. These 5 cars shared something powerful. They weren't boring. They weren't lazy. They weren't ordinary. They were bold. And bold ideas don't always succeed immediately, but they leave a mark. And sometimes that mark lasts longer than commercial success ever could. But the story of beautiful failures doesn't end there. Because as the 1950s moved forward, automakers didn't slow down. They became even more daring, more experimental, and sometimes even more misunderstood.